So you guys are here for ME1800? Everybody's here for ME1800? This would be a good time to get up and walk out if you're here for a different class. Get the volume down a little bit. I didn't want to go down that far. All right. Still going? Okay. So we're going to do a couple things here. This is a fairly large class. Who thinks that there may be a moment that you can't make it to class? One day out of the term that you might miss class. Anybody? Anybody? What should you do if you miss class? What's your name? Tim. Tim, what should you do if you miss class? Who else thinks they might miss class this term? Tim wanted to email me in advance. What's your name?
Bradley.
Bradley, what do you think you should do if you're going to miss class? Somebody else. Yes. What's your name? Anna. Anna's getting warmer. Anyone else? Think you might, what's your name? Yeah. Michelle, are you good? I'm going to remember your name because I have a daughter named Michelle. And she has a good friend named Anna. So the rest of you guys have got nothing. Michelle, what do you think you should do if you might have to miss class? Well, all right. I have experienced this before. I've been teaching this class for over 12, 13 years now, at least twice a year. And I have experienced that it is so joyful for me to see the classroom so full of students on the first day of the term. And then there's days as we get deeper into the term where there's not as many students in the classroom. So we've got echo capture from that camera up there. It also records everything that goes onto that screen. It doesn't record anything on that screen, but it records everything that goes onto that screen. So if I'm talking about something important, remind me to make sure that it's on that screen. We also will have a YouTube live video of every lecture. I'm not sure if Echo is the backup for YouTube or if YouTube is the backup for Echo, but I do actually like the way the YouTube videos come out better than I like the way the Echo videos come out. Seems to be more robust. Echo sometimes changes technology, and then the archived videos are no longer useful. So if you're going to miss lecture, you could attempt to watch it live. If that fails, you should go to the course website and watch the video of the lecture. Unless you don't care. And my feelings would be a little bit hurt if you don't care, I suppose. And my YouTube views might be down if you don't care. And anybody that posts stuff on YouTube, they crave views. They crave likes. Ooh, and there's extra credit available in this class. No, that would be, what's the word? I think it would be a violation of the terms of service for YouTube, for one thing, to give you guys points in class for liking my videos. I'm pretty sure also that it would be some violation of WPI policy. I'm not sure what the policy is, but we're gonna try to do this. Anybody know what the purpose of today's lecture is? Anybody want to take a guess as to the purpose of today's lecture? What's your name? Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Robert.
I was thinking maybe a basic safety lecture might be important.
You might think that, but we will do the safety lecture in the last lecture of the class, not the first. We will have a safety lecture. And that lecture won't be about how to be safe in the lab, because it would be too late for that, right? Yeah. So that lecture will be about how would you go about designing a safety system, or how would you ensure that if you were designing some piece of equipment, that it is safe for people to use. And we save that for the end of the class so that you have some basis to make good design decisions. If we did that at the beginning of the class, then we'd all just be guessing anyway. So yes, we will do that, but not in the first lecture. Anybody else got a guess about what today's first lecture is going to be about? Yes. We will show the syllabus. In fact, if I can get just a hair more organized here, Let's see. Where is it? I might actually have to log in. I don't think I actually published the link to the syllabus yet. So give me just a second here to not be on the thing in case. You ever type your password when somebody else could see it on accident? Do you ever type your password in the username box on accident because you think the username is already typed in? I have done that in front of an ME1800 class that was broadcasting live before. So I'm going to switch the displays here a little bit. Where's the page I want to be on? Sources. I want that one that's going live to be on the document camera, which is showing nothing. Well, I mean, it's showing the whiteboard. Is that upside down? Let's see. Good. It's pointed right side up. I like to use the blackboard. So we'll point the document camera at the blackboard when we want to project that. Okay, what was I going to do is log in because I haven't published the link to the syllabus yet. I guess I won't, in case I screwed up in front of you guys too. All right, now I can sign in. That's me. What the heck? Sign into Chrome. There we go. It's doing a YouTube live and it's going to ask me to authenticate. We may have to. Hey, and it says we're still live. Good to go. All right. Cancel that. Go to my drive. I just did that. Yeah, I just did that. Drive. Okay, back to the phone. It still says we're live. Okay. Syllabus, right? Somebody asked about the syllabus? Let's start with the syllabus. ME1800 C19 syllabus. And all right, we got it. You guys who are taking the class should read the syllabus. Okay, we've covered the syllabus. There'll be a link to the syllabus in the Canvas site. If you go to Canvas, once I turn the Canvas site on, it's not on yet if you didn't notice. You go to Canvas, you click the little button that says syllabus, it will bring you to this document. It will bring you to this document. One of the important parts of the syllabus that we will look at today is the schedule. You will note that I have not yet completed filling out the schedule. Did you note that? But I did put in today. So on a day, if you, let's see. When you view it, it'll be in the published state and you won't have to right click to follow the link. But I have to right click to follow the link. It will bring you to lecture notes for today's lecture. The objective of today's lecture is to set expectations for the class, introduce key concepts we will be revisiting throughout the term. There's a before class item listed. That's stuff I want you to do before you come to class. Got it? What did you guys do to get ready for class today? What's your name? Tom. What did you do to get ready for class today? I showed up. Charlie, what did you do to get ready for class today? See, Charlie has a problem here because his little sister and my daughter are friends. So I know Charlie. In fact, his little sister is friends with Michelle. Do you guys know each other? Charlie, Michelle, Michelle, Charlie. What did you do to get ready for class today? Nothing. What's your name, WPI shirt? Tim, what'd you do to get ready for class today? Nothing. All right, so on the other days, anybody do anything to get ready for class today? What'd you do? Yeah, notebook and a pencil. I know somebody that teaches, doesn't matter where he teaches. If you walk into their classroom and you don't have like a notebook and a pencil or a pen or some way to take notes, they won't start the lecture until you get up and leave. Because they feel that you're not being prepared to take notes is disrespectful for them. I'm not that guy, so don't worry about that. That's not going to happen. So before class, there'll be a list of things that I expect you to do before class. It might be read something. It might be watch a YouTube video. There'll be a link to the lecture slides for the class. And then there will be an agenda. And this is the things that I think I'm going to try to do during the times of the class. So like at 55, so 5 minutes before, I said we're going to start a cool YouTube video to get excited. Did the YouTube video make anybody excited? I was a little bit late. All right, cool. Then we're going to talk about syllabus, course description, course materials. Then what I expect, what you expect, what's making manufacturing, value and cost, and then the end. This is my first time ever publishing an agenda for the class that you guys get to see. I don't know if it's going to work. You may note that I'm way off track sometimes. If I am and you think it's important, tell me. Okay, lecture slides. First, you got those pieces of paper, right? Everybody's got pieces of paper? I have Sharpies. Write your name in big letters so that I can see it. Feel free to use the Sharpie. There's more Sharpies. You already put Sharpies out, right? And make a tent card so that I can see your names. Because I like to call people by name. The paper. Not the index card. The index card has a different purpose. Sure. Anybody need an index card? You're going to need these too. Oh, and I'm going to want these Sharpies back at the end of the class. So don't like stick it in your pocket and walk away with it, please. Sure thing. All right, let's start to name it. Woo. All right, everybody working on the tent card with their name? Okay. Who's read the course description for this class within the last, say, 2 months? Raise your hand proud if you've read the course description for this class within the last 2 months. Because some people read it, sign up for it, and then forget why they signed up, right? Tim, what's class about? Computer-aided machining. How do I pronounce your name, Kwong? Quang? Okay. What's the class about? You had your hand up.
Machining and manufacturing.
Machining, manufacturing stuff. Mike, what's the class about? I don't know if you had your hand up or not. What's the class about?
Utilizing computer design technology to
Sort of. So he said computer-aided design technology, CAD, right? We're not going to do CAD in this class. We're going to do the next step after CAD, which is CAM. So you're not required to learn how to use SolidWorks in this class, for example. Doesn't matter if you've ever seen a CAD software package, you can still do this class. Oops, back. Did the red just appear, or was it there from the whole time? I thought this slide was animated, sorry. So the class is about manufacturing, right? It's about manufacturing science and engineering. What's the difference between science and engineering, Tim? Now you know the purpose of the name card, so I get to call on people by name. What's the difference between science and engineering? Science is like research, engineering is like application. You guys agree with that? We'll talk about science and engineering as applied to manufacturing. All right, so how about manufacturing engineering? N-I-A, Nile. Oh, is that a normal spelling? Okay, cool. Maybe I've never seen Nile spelled before. Pronounced just like it's spelled. Go think. Nile. What was my question, anybody? I lost it. Manufacturing engineering. What is manufacturing engineering? We've got an idea what engineering is. What's manufacturing engineering? It's the engineering part of that process, right? So it's really kind of the figuring out how to manufacture them. My wife used to work at Tiffany and Company. She was a manufacturing engineer at Tiffany and Company, the jewelry manufacturer. And so the jewelers would design some beautiful, fancy piece of jewelry. The marketing people would look at it and say, yeah, we could sell that. And then it would go to the manufacturing engineers, and they had to figure out how to make 1,000 a day. Because you weren't going to put 1,000 jewelers in a room, each one making one piece in a day, right? So the manufacturing engineer takes that concept and figures out how to get it in volume. Okay. What about manufacturing science, right? We got a good feeling for the engineering. Alex, what do you think manufacturing science is? The science behind manufacturing. Yeah. Okay. Julia. Understanding the fundamental principles that allow you to do the manufacturing processes. Exactly. And so manufacturing science that we're going to do in the class, for example, is well, you guys have all seen some CNC machines run now, right? Because we watched the YouTube video at the beginning. But so in order to do that, it's a subtractive process, right? It's a material removal process. The cutting tool has to interact with the workpiece material in such a way that the workpiece material becomes two pieces, right? So we're going to look at the physics of how the chip, so what happens is the chip forms on the edge of the tool and goes along the edge of the tool. We're going to look at the physics of what's happening right at the contact point. So what's happening inside the material to make it break off and shear off in that direction. So that's some science that we're going to look at. So we're going to talk about CAD and CAM. We're going to talk about CAM, right? We talked about CAM. I sort of said it, right? It's not CAD. It's computer-aided manufacturing or computer-aided machining. And so this is the software that takes our SolidWorks. Who's ever drawn a part in SolidWorks or some other program? So Tim, this is the software that's going to take that part you drew. What's something you've drawn?
Like a piston.
Like a piston, okay. So he's drawn a piston in his CAM software. You can't just like take that like drawing of the piston and jam it into the machine tool, right? So what you're going to do is we're going to take the CAM software to figure out how to make the tool go around to make the properties that piston wants. Yeah, class about manufacturing. What do I expect from you guys? Any guesses? Randy, you got any guesses about what I expect? Ooh, that rhymes. So we can rap. Expect, respect. That's all the rap I got in me. I expect you to come to class prepared. So before you get to class, now it was hard to do today because I haven't released any of the materials to you yet. The Canvas site will get turned on by, I really hate to put times and dates on things because then what if I screw up and don't do it? And then you lose all respect for me. The Canvas site will be turned on by the by the end of business Friday. That's tomorrow, right? Today's Thursday. By the end of business Friday, so like 5 p.m. ish. Give me some leeway at the moment there, but I want to turn it on sooner. So I'd like to turn it on sometime this afternoon. I'm going to give myself till 5 p.m. tomorrow, just in case. I expect you to come to class prepared. So look at what the next lecture topic is going to be about. There's going to be the link where you can see what I want you to do before. That's to guide you to how to prepare for lecture. I want you to be prepared to learn something in particular. So I want you to be able to know what it is you want to learn before you come to class, based on the material that we say we're going to talk about. I want you to be prepared to participate in class discussions. How do we participate in class discussions? Miha. Exactly. When I talk to you, especially if I say your name, then talk to me. What happens, Evan, if you don't know the answer? If you could make an educated guess, then say, I'm not sure, but I think, that's a valid response, right? I want you to disagree with me if needed. Does that make sense? It's Eli. See, that one's got 3 letters. It is really hard for me to screw up. Eli. When might I need to be disagreed with? All right, Alex. When might I need to be disagreed with? I mean, that's a fair answer. Right. I could make a mistake. I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken. Oh, and by the way, this, even if it's not written in the syllabus as part of the grading expectations, there's always some sort of class participation grading that happens. It's virtually impossible not to have something like that, right? So say, can't see your thing. Say Sean here is always in class. He always laughs at my jokes. He participates fully, and he calls me out when I've made a mistake. And he's got an 89.7 average on the tests and homeworks and all that when everything's graded. What do you think Sean gets, an A or a B? He probably gets an A, right? But if I've never heard of the guy and never seen him, why would I give him the extra 89.7? I might just bump that anyway. But you get what I'm saying, right? There is always that leeway to bump you up if I think that even though your test scores don't necessarily show it, you actually learned and got something from the class. And it totally makes me feel better if you talk to me. We're going to have some group activity in the class. So you'll be, what do you think? Should we assign people to groups or should we let people choose groups? Stand up if you think we should assign you to a group. All right, when it comes time to choose groups, you guys don't have to choose. You can just talk to the TA and they'll assign you to a group. Everybody else would rather choose their own group? I'm good with that. So there's going to be some group activities. I need you to collaborate with your group. I really hate hearing from a group, especially at the end of the term, that Carrie, like, she said she was going to meet with us, and then she never showed up. You're not going to be that person, right, Carrie? Carly? But you wrote in that fancy scripty. All right. All right, quick glance. Is it 2 R's or is it an R and an L? All right. What do I know? A few years ago, I couldn't even spell engineer, and now I are one. And so laughing at my jokes helps me get you over that thing, right? If you want to make sure that I know that it's you, Emily, I have a daughter named Emily also. So you're in trouble. I mean, because I'm going to remember your name, and I'll notice if you don't come to class. Yeah. I want you guys to have fun. Did you know that it is scientifically proven that if you have fun in class, you learn better? Who believes that? I bet you guys also believe that 99% of all statistics are made up. All right, but no, actually, they've shown scientifically it doesn't actually have to be fun. It could be traumatic too. But heightened states of emotion increase your ability to learn. I like to go with the fun one. There's a fun story about that. There's a guy who actually introduced this topic to me in a book I was reading. He went to like art school to be like a film producer. And so when he was in class, there was a guy giving a lecture about something that people that go to art school to become film producers learn about. And as the guy was doing the lecture, he was walking across the classroom, and as he would do the lecture, he was taking off pieces of clothing. Throughout the course of the hour, I'm not going to do that. Throughout the course of the hour, And at the end, I guess he was standing there in his boxer shorts, and he said, "You guys will never forget this lecture," because he didn't explain why he was doing it. Anyway, I want you guys to have fun so we can learn something, and I want you to get an A in this class. Who took the class because they heard it was an easy class to get an A in? Come on. Come on. I know you all right, be proud. Who took the class because you want to get an easy A? I hope that I have designed this class so that you can get an easy A. So this is not like law school where we're trying to find out who's going to be the best lawyer, right? It's not even like business school where we're trying to figure out who's going to be the best MBA. This is engineering school, right? There's stuff that you need to learn and express that you have learned in order to get an A in this class. If you do that, everybody can get an A. In fact, I don't know for a fact that they would fire me if I just gave everybody an A today, and then the people that wanted to learn stuff could show up. But I don't think I want to find out either. So I want y'all to get an A in this class. All right, what do you expect? That's the index card. Actually, let's change question 2. Question 1 is, why are you here? Question 2, instead of why do you think I'm here, what's one thing that if you don't learn it in this class, you're going to be disappointed? So put question 1 on one side, why are you here? Why did you take this class? Right? On question 2, what's one thing that you'll be really disappointed if you don't learn it by the end of the term? And we got 2 minutes or so. Supposed to be music. I should have used this music for my intro, right? And I could have rappelled down into the classroom. So remember, question 2 is not why do you think I'm here, but what's one thing that you have to learn while you're in the class? No, you're done writing? Why do you think I'm here? Okay, I'll accept that. Trevor, you're done writing? Why do you think I'm here? Bradley, why do you think I'm here?
Have fun.
Have fun. I'm here to have fun. And hopefully inspire you guys to learn something. Who knows so somebody that's done writing, who knows the etymology of who knows what the word etymology means? All right. Tavan? It looks like a T. It totally looks like a T without the bottom, and never heard of the name Tavan. But hey, people name their kids weird things these days. Ivan, what was the word etymology? What's etymology?
How the word became what it is.
Yeah, it's the study of words and the history of words, right? Who knows what education means, or to educate? Anybody? Wait, you guys are at an institution of higher learning? Wait, no, education. What do we call this? It's an educational facility. Who's ever thought about what the word education means? Nate, what do you think the word education means? All right, I'll just tell you. So the root word, and I think it's Latin, but the root of the word education means to draw out knowledge. So I'm not here to push in knowledge to you. I'm here to draw out knowledge. So the idea here is that all the knowledge already exists in you. You just haven't put it together yet. So in education, I've been doing this for quite a while. I actually took this job in order to find out if I would like teaching. I decided that I liked teaching, so then I decided to do something to try to teach better. I guess that's when the thing self-destructs, right? This message will self-destruct. Okay. So I decided that I wanted to be able to teach better since I decided I like teaching. So I started researching teaching. And the people that write about teaching, I don't know, I couldn't get into anything that they published. It just wasn't that exciting. But I said, but I still want to do better. So I started researching learning. Now, the people that write about learning are actually, I think, better than the people that write about teaching. I actually got something about trying to understand how people learn, because they classify people as there's visual learners and there's audible learners, and there's, I don't necessarily follow along with all those classifications, but and that's probably why zoology was one of the worst classes I ever took, because I don't like to characterize and classify things that way. No offense to the zoologists. My daughter Emily wants to be a zoologist when she grows up. But learning was kind of interesting. And I started then thinking about, well, what else is like learning? Who else teaches besides instructors? It's still playing music, huh? It's kind of nice. It's from the YouTube. I think it's auto-played another video somewhere or something. I think. Or maybe it's just WPI's new theme music. The room's not going up and down, is it? We're not in an elevator? um, so anyway, so salespeople are often trying to educate people. So they're trying to get you to learn about their product. So I started actually studying sales and marketing. And from there, it was a short leap to brainwashing. And so my objective here is to brainwash you into wanting to know the materials that are going to be important to you in succeeding in this class so that you will learn those things. I determined in all my years of doing this that I cannot teach anybody anything, but I can inspire them to learn and provide them with access to the materials that helps them learn. Some of that material might be words that I say. Some of it will be things that we ask you to read, things like that. All right, so those index cards, you guys can pass them towards the middle and towards the front. I'll read those offline. No, they're anonymous. I have no idea where we stand on the agenda. What time is it? 35. At 35, we should have already finished the slide that's up next. So we'll have to, everybody talk quickly, okay? What is making? Let's see if I can make the noise go away, since I don't know where it's coming from. What is making? Ryan, what does it mean to make? To be a maker, to do making?
It means to take materials and to modify them so that you can
So we want to take materials. Can we call them raw materials? Sean, is that all right? We call them raw materials. So we take raw materials, and what did you say, Ryan? After the materials, we take the materials, and then what?
modify them so that they're useful.
To change them to be useful. How many L's in useful? That was a useful bit of information for me. Have you thought about this before, Ryan?
No.
Because it's a really good answer. Usually it takes more than one person to get to this answer. Is this all, so taking raw materials, doing something on them, changing them to make them into something useful? Is this all encompassing of making? Who's ever been to a makerspace? Okay. I don't mean the one here at WPI, another one. Anybody still got their hands up? Okay. Is that sort of the attitude at a makerspace? Of you're taking some raw material, transforming it into something useful. How do we transform it? Yeah. Using tools, maybe processes. So we use tools and processes. What kind of tools do we use? Laurel. Hand tools, machine tools, hand and machine tools. Well, don't we do that in manufacturing too? Right? In fact, we very often in our making process here might use manufacturing tools, right? In manufacturing processes. So then, Randy, you have a red shirt on, so my eye goes, and you're in the middle. My eye's going right to you. Randy, what's the difference between making and manufacturing? Bless you. What's the difference between making and manufacturing? All right, Charles. What's the difference between making and manufacturing? So, so do you go by Charles? Yeah, okay. No, but I've always called you Charlie and heard people call you Charlie. So, I almost didn't realize who I was talking to until I looked up above the Charles. In the back row, I can't see your name thing. Rufus. Making the same thing over and over again. That's sort of what you were getting at too, right? So more volume of it. Not necessarily. Starts with a K. Is it? Can't quite see the whole thing. Now it's moving. Caitlin. More efficient. So higher volume, more efficient. Will. A repeated process, making lots more things in a more efficient way. Mustafa. You got nothing, Tom.
I think manufacturing is kind of part of making, isn't it? Making sort of also
Manufacturers make things. I will agree. So manufacturing includes everything that we said making was. But I think we can clearly distinguish between manufacturing and making. When we're making, why are we doing it? So the difference really lies in the rationale for doing the making. If we're making, why are we doing it? Did you have your hand up? So like a personal project, Alex. When we're making, why are we doing it? So you can't use personal project. You got to come up with something else. Ellie. So you are personal or for someone you know. And Ellie, what did you say? So corporations manufacture. So where's my thing? So maybe MFG and MAKE, because it would have been just silly to just put MAK. So here we have a corporation. Here we have a person, or me, right? So you're saying corporations do manufacturing, is that what you're saying? Whereas people do making? I think that's not quite there yet. But it's in here, it's in the room, I'm drawing it out. Evan. So you might, and I think prototyping, which was one of the words that was sprinkled throughout that course description, right? I think prototyping is somewhere in between. And sometimes it is making, and sometimes it is manufacturing. But so when you said corporations, we're talking about who's doing it, right? But when we're talking about over here, we're talking about who wants it. So you said do a personal project, you say do a project for a friend, a gift for a family member, something like that. That's making. So when we are making, we might do all the same processes. We might have the same volume. We might have the same efficiency and the same tools in making and manufacturing. The difference is that in manufacturing, we're making it for a customer. And in making, there's no customer. So manufacturing is the business of making. Does that make sense? Yes. And so I did say there's some gray area here, right? By my definition that I just stated, yes. Right? And so you're thinking of like people that make something and then sell it on Etsy or on eBay or something like that, yeah? I would argue if they're making it with the intent of selling it, then 100% they are a manufacturer. And if they're making it for the fun of making it, and then they realize I've got all these crocheted pot holders around, maybe I should get rid of some of them and sell them. Unless they then go make more to refill the pipeline, they were probably a maker, yeah, not a manufacturer. But I don't think those distinctions really make that much difference. What we're talking about in the class for manufacturing is people that are doing it on purpose. So yeah, we talked about what is manufacturing. I would argue that we've been doing manufacturing since the Stone Age. And manufacturers have existed since the Stone Age. It was Sean here, really good at making arrowheads. Alex, really good at using arrows to kill deer. So as soon as Sean makes an arrowhead, gives it to Alex, and Alex gives Sean a piece of deer, we have a manufacturing economy, right? And so a manufacturing-based economy. So I get these three pictures up here to sort of denote some steps through manufacturing. Anybody know what the one in the middle is? Any guesses? Yeah, Tim. Some sort of reciprocating engine. It is not truly that, no. I'm trying to see if a component of it included that. Can't see. Niall, I screwed up your name. I still can't see you. It is not a lathe. It's sort of it's like a lathe. What? It is not a loom. Any more guesses? It was probably, I would guess it was powered by steam, but I'm not 100% certain of that. Yes. So it's actually, so who said lathe? You were sort of the closest. The lathe mill, sort of the closest here. It's actually Wilkinson's boring machine. Anybody know who Wilkinson is? Who knows what boring is? And don't say this lecture, Tim.
Like making holes.
Making holes. So the process, the manufacturing process called boring, is the process of making holes. What was special about Wilkinson's boring machine? Does anybody know? Tim.
He's the person who was like the father's measurements is very
No. Oh, maybe, but not, no. So Wilkinson was the first guy to be able to make holes that were straight enough that you could start mass producing steam engines. Wilkinson and Watt, you guys have heard of Watt, right? They named, what did they name after him? Some unit of measure. Oh, the watt, right? What's Watt's units for? Power. What powered the Industrial Revolution? Anybody? Steam engines. In particular, Watt's steam engines powered the Industrial Revolution. Wilkinson and Watt were partners. Wilkinson was the first person that was able to bore holes straight enough so that you could mass produce steam engines. And that's what caused the Industrial Revolution to happen. So that was a big change in manufacturing, right? From here, it was clearly art, right? At this end of it, it was art. It was artisans doing manufacturing. When we get here, we start to be in the place where we can build factories to do manufacturing. Anybody know what the last picture is? And it's on there because one of my former students, when I put this picture on the slide, was the lead propulsion system designer for that craft. It's the Dragon space module. He's got a new job now. His new job title is possibly the best job title I've ever heard in my life. He is the Mars Colonial Transport Test Manager, which I think is the coolest job title that was ever written down. But yeah, our job here is to take manufacturing, take it from art, make it become science. Now I gotta talk really fast. All right, what's value? Yes.
A subjective measurement of how much you want or
Does it have to be subjective? What's the value of this? You know, before I was married, I did this with a real $100 bill. What's the value of this? Somebody, Stephen, what's the value? $100. How do you know? Yeah. Julia, what's the value? The cost, I think, is like 7 or 9 cents. But Mustafa, what's the value? $100. Tom, what's the value? $100. Did I already ask Alex? $100. Person sitting behind Alex whose name card I can't see. Lily, $100. Why? Yeah.
because that's what our society has agreed that it's worth.
Perhaps. Anybody here at ROTC? Any ROTC people here? Why is the value $100? What kind of ROTC are you? Navy? I was gonna say 82nd Airborne, but let's go with what's one of the aircraft carriers that's out there now? Big one. I know the Nimitz was an aircraft carrier, but I don't know if there's still a Nimitz out there. Enterprise, one of these things. Yeah. But so why is it worth $100? Because we said it is, right? You guys realize that the U.S. economy is a fiat currency, right? It's worth $100 because somebody printed it on a piece of paper and said it was worth $100. What it's really worth, and the value really is what you're willing to give me in exchange for it, Tim, right? So the value of that $100 bill is what you can exchange it for. It has no intrinsic value, except, you know, it is backed up by the 82nd Airborne, 101st, all those people. So don't try to take it away. What's the cost? You mentioned the cost was a few pennies. I think it's like 7 or 12 cents, depending on which bill it was. What's the difference between value and cost? Wait, how do we write difference? It's an engineering class. We should do math, right? Yeah. Minus sign. So value minus cost. What's the difference? Yeah.
Value is what society sees as worth.
Well, what's the difference between value and cost? Profit. What's the first derivative with respect to time of profit? It's an engineering class. We have to do math, right? All right, it's an engineering class. It's not a math class. We can estimate the math. Let's call it profit rate. The profit rate is the speed at which you make a profit, right? How fast can you make a profit? Do you want a positive or a negative profit rate if you're a manufacturing company? Actually, any kind of company. Positive. What happens when you have a negative profit rate? Your company is failing, right? I got complained to on those course evaluation forms one year. Several people, they must have like teamed up and like gotten their comments ready before they filled the forms out. Several people complained one year that I talked too much about business in the engineering class. So I solved it the next term. I had everybody stand up, and you guys can all do that. Everybody stand up, quickly. Have just a moment. Sit down if you have a trust fund and will never need a job in your life. Actually, one term somebody sat down. It's kind of weird for me. So the rest of us who are still standing will sometime need to have a job. So since manufacturing is the business of making, and this class is about manufacturing, we will discuss ways to keep your company from failing once you start working there so that you could work at a company that doesn't close. And now I'm done with defending myself for talking about business. There is no lab this week. Labs will begin next week. The Canvas site will be live when? Tiffany, when's the Canvas site going to be live? By Friday at 5, but hopefully sooner. And you will have a homework assignment that's posted on the Canvas site. You'll see it. Yes.